I have started Artemis Fowl in the quantity code. I had to read double today because I did not read last night because I was just so bloody blooming tired. I didn't even do anything I really needed to do, which sort of sucks. And I didn't do a lot of my reading in the morning like I wanted to because it's like literally 1:30 now in the afternoon, and I got up at 8 this morning. The reason being, one, I drowned in myself in YouTube Shorts. Should never do that. I need to stop. It's like ruining my work activity, my work, anything, ethics. It's all gone down the drain. I need to stop. I need to stop. 2, of course, I had to eat breakfast, drink my coffee, wake up, do some dishes, get dressed to go out. Reason being, my cat had an appointment at 9:30. So, I love my cat, as every pet owner should, okay? And the thing is that he's got a wiggly tooth and a swollen gum on the side of his mouth, and the tooth is brownish, and I'm really concerned about it. I mean, he still eats, he still drinks, like a normal, like he always does, and still visits the bathroom 2.5 times a day. So, all his stuff is normal functions. It's just, I'm a little concerned about the tooth, you know? I mean, I don't want him to get a terrible infection from it. So, I had to take him to the vets today for that. And they said that they don't want to give him an anesthetic without checking to make sure his heart is good. So they drew some blood to check his heart. I don't know how that fucking works, but that's what they told me. And they said that if they found something worrying, they'd have to do a exam on him, you know, a chest ray. No, chest ray, not chest ray. X-ray on his chest to see if everything's okay with his heart before they put him under anesthesia to yank out his teeth or to surgically remove it, whichever is best. So come Monday, today's Saturday, I will find out whether or not he is good with that. I don't know if that'll be updated in, well, it'll be updated in this little blog because I'll be reading Artemis Fowl for that. So you will know what I know. For that. And I'll have to schedule the appointment for a weekday, unfortunately, and that means I'll have to drop him off at night, so he'll be gone from my house for a night. And I've left him before for a week, but he's never left his home for a night. So that's gonna be a new experience for both of us, because I'll be sleeping at home and he won't be here, and I'll be a little sad faces, but it's necessary for his health. I gotta remember that. Necessary for his health. Anyways, let's talk about Artemis Fowl and the Eternity Code. So, Artemis, of course, is a mastermind, genius, evil, right? He's done a lot of evil things, and he was trying to gain a lot of money. He was holding powerful technology, which he took and modified and wrote an Eternity Code for what he calls a sea cube, which is something from the lower elements, which are, you know, the fairies and everything like that in Haven. And it sort of backfired on him. John Spirito, the one who he was trying to negotiate with, kinda stole it and tried to kill him. Okay? And though the sonic blast that they had set up had defunct everybody in there except for them, it also didn't defunct the bodyguard John Spirito brought with him, which is Arno Blunt. He had earplugs in because he knew he was going to have a shootout. Because, you know, guns in books. So with that, he was going to shoot Artemis Butler. Where is it? I know I marked it. Domovoy Butler That's his full name. We'll just call him Butler because that is like the weirdest name ever. Okay. He jumps in the way and blocks it. And I've just realized you can't hear me. God damn it all. Well, you can, but it's not a very good quality. And that sucks. Donkey Balls. And now you can hear me better. This is going to be lovely to edit, but hey, that's my life. I edit weird ass shit all the time. So, he had a Kevlar vest on to prevent bullets, but it was, the bullet was very point blank, close range, so Kevlar vest could not stop it fully, and it was coated with, it was coated with something that, made it easier to penetrate, so it penetrated just below his heart, unfortunately, and that meant he was dying. Okay, so he was dying, and Artemis, who found that out and realized that, was like, oh crap. He literally stuck him in a freezer, a fish freezer, to prevent him from dying, okay, and froze him to the best of his capabilities to preserve the brain, preserve the body, so that way he could find and make a deal. They say he found a cryogenetics lab nearby, made a deal with the person to transfer money into their account so that way he could rent a pod, but he just wanted the vehicle. And so got Butler into the vehicle, got him back to the genetics lab, and they made a very important phone call that fully picked up. Now, the little C cube was used as a demonstration tool between Artemis and John Spiro to send out a probe for tracking. And not only to pick up the governments, the CIA, trying to track down John Spiro, it also picked up LAP items. And that probe had consequences down below in Haven. So they stopped everything because of the probe, worried that they'd been discovered by the mud people, aka humans. And they sent Holly Short up top to recon and figure out where it came from, who it was, and everything like that. Well, after the call was placed, which they tracked because he used all the keywords that he needed to attract them, Holly Short arrived there, and he didn't know it was Holly Short who came, but he was just like, 15 minutes, that's awesome, maybe he'll be saved instead of 5 hours, you know. And he tried to speak to them, and they was like, yeah, I know who you are. And he was like, Holly, it's you, thank God. And he was like, well, where's your butler? And he's like, here, in this mobile cryo truck. And so between Artemis, Foley, and Holly, they talked about what they could do. And Holly's like, he's dead, there's nothing that can be done. Though there is something that can be done. Healing can be done. And Foley's like, well, it's up to Holly for it to happen. But there are consequences. We have no clue how the healing is going to go with him already being, dead. His brain might not be dead, but his body is. And we have no clue how it's going to react to his body, the healing. And Artemis is like, I will take full responsibility for this. I will take full responsibility for anything that happens to him. I just want him alive. So they were like, okay. Hi, Kiki. You're going to be very inconvenient right now and get up in the way of the camera. And so they're like, okay, well, it's up to Holly. And he asked Holly. And Holly was like, okay, well, he saved us. And so I'm going to try to save him. No guarantees. So they have to make a new wound because of the Kevlar bullet entrance. They didn't want that to become part of his body. And so she did very quickly because she had to heat up the body in order to make the wound. And then she pushed her healing magic in. And he was brought back to life. I mean, he was unconscious for a few days, but he was brought back to life, safe and sound. But they didn't know about his brain or the trauma he had. So they didn't know how he was going to wake up, how he was going to react, or anything of that nature. So, Holly realized that something did go wrong when his hair grew out. He aged 15 years because of the healing. Because it took his life force to help heal him enough to bring him back. So, yeah, there's that. So they return back to the mansion, Foley Manor, and Artemis tells them about the probe, about his plans, about how Butler got shot. And so now they have to figure out, I don't know if they've already talked about what they're going to do about it or not, but they have to wait for John Sparrow to come to them, because he's like, I know they will. Once they find out I'm still alive, they'll want to come for me. So there's that plan in place. Now, intermittent between the chapters, you find out that Artemis Fowl the first, because Artemis Fowl, main character, he's actually the second. You find out that his father is, of course, been rescued in the previous book, and he's changed from what Artemis remembers him as. He's what he was before before his father took over the Fowl Empire. He was that kind of man that Angelique had married. And that was straight business, legitimate, nothing illegal, and wholesome, and family. And Artemis Sr. wants Artemis Jr. and them to, be close, be knowledgeable to each other. And for him to be a schoolboy and not worry about business, And so Artemis decides to do this one last thing. So you're looking at the past, and it's his diary. So that's a little better because it's from his personal diary, and it's not actually a flashback type of thing. It's, you get information about his father and his moods now, and why he says that this will be most likely his last criminal thing. But now he has to sit there and retrieve the stolen stuff. Now, while that's happening, John Spiro learns that his people, Dr. Pearson, who is part of Technology Wonders, cannot crack the Eternity Code, which is what he explains. It's in a language that was completely made up, and there is absolutely no reference on how to crack this code. They would need Artemis Fowl to crack it. So John Spiro's like, well, I just found out he's alive. So he speaks to a woman named Carla Fazeri. I think that's her name. Carla Frazetti. Carla Frazetti, okay? So Carla Frazetti is like, I got 2 men for the job. We can do that. The first one is Loafers. I don't really care about his last name. His name is Loafers. Actually, Aloisi, we're going to go with Loafers because that's what he wants, okay? Loafers is a middleman, so he's the gunman. He's the type with the guns blazing type of stuff, and he's done a lot of missions, and his whole body is like tattooed out for that. Every complete mission he does for the mob, he gets a tattoo in honor of that. And he was in the middle of getting another tattoo when Carla came in and said, hey, I've got a job for you. It's a 2-man hit job, and we need you because it's high profile. And he's like, all right, well, let's go. And he's like, who are we getting? She said, Mo Diligence. Delancey? Mo Delancey. I think that's the name he gave himself. Mo, come here. Mo Degens. Sorry. Mo Degens. It's Mulch Diggums, by the way. It's the dwarf. Cliptomaniac dwarf. So, he's a new guy working for the Chicago mob, just trying to get money before he can just skedaddle and go out and do his own thing. And he gets pulled into it, and Mulch is like, recognizes the manor. Of course he does. And he's like, crap. I can't lead the mob there. They kind of saved my bum. I can't lead them there. So, in the first time in his life, he's going to do something selfish, and he's going to try to make things go wrong and blame Loafers for everything that goes wrong during this mission. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm at like 132 pages in because I had to make up for not reading yesterday because this was scheduled to start reading. I only have about 8 days left of reading for August, and I still have to read Fall's Future by Dan Crocos. So I have to be on it, and on days that I don't feel like reading, I gotta make up for it by reading double the next day. And with this Sunday, if I read double Sunday, I only have to read one more day, and it would give me an extra day for the other one, for Fall's Future. We'll see, because I will only be able to read up on the weekends. I could try to read up more on weekdays, but with my other channel taking up priority on a lot of stuff, yeah, that we'll see. We'll see. Okay. I will see you in the next clip. Update. Okay. So we're updating for Artemis Fowl in eternity code. So I think where I left off in updating you was somewhere. Anyways, Juliet comes back into it. Butler's younger sister, who's like going to be 18. Okay, she was training at a training camp with Madame Co, the person who trains bodyguards, to become an actual bodyguard herself, which means she would have to ditch her last name and only tell the last name when either you're no longer serving your principal or you're dying, because that's the only time you're allowed to do that. And she can't work with Artemis's family because they all know her name, so she'd have to go somewhere else. And she fails it because Madame Co sets up really difficult things and tests you really hard, and she failed because she let a merchant get in her way longer than necessary because she didn't want to incapacitate them or kill the person. But when she finds out that her brother needs her, she drops everything to go to him, and Madame Co lets that happen. So now you have Mulch and Loafers showing up at Artemis Fowl's manor, ready to go in and infiltrate. Mulch, who is going to betray them, decides that he's going to go in first, and that he'd call Loafers in when he was ready. So he goes in and confronts Artemis and tells him everything, and Mulch forgot he's wired and that Loafers can listen in. So Loafers does listen and decides, oh, you're going to betray me? Well, guess what? I'm going to come in. So he's got a gun. He goes in. He trains it at Artemis. Butler comes in. Oh, it's all this things. And then Juliet comes in and beats the shit out of him. Well, knocks him out. Holly, Root, Foley, Juliet, Butler, Artemis, and Mulch all have a conference to discuss what's going to happen. They've decided that Loafers is no longer being Loafers. His name is going to be Nura, I think it is. Nuru is what his name is going to be. And he's going to go live with this Kenyan warriors somewhere. And with a complete and total mind wipe that he's no longer going to be Loafers anymore. And it works, because he infiltrates very well immediately. Doesn't remember nothing, because, they removed all his tattoos and everything, too. So Mulch calls Mr. John Spiro and says, hey, look, I've got the boy. We're going to come to you. So let's do it. So they all get on a plane. Juliet drives it. Juliet, 18, can drive a freaking plane, okay? They land. John Spiro has Arno Blunt search the inside. They find nothing wrong with it. And so they bring them to Spiral Industries on a helicopter. So there's a lot of security in this place, and there's a lot of stuff. But fairy technology is more advanced than human technology. So he's got like this adhesive band-aid thing on his neck with a microphone that can hear everything. And his eye has a camera lens in it that can see everything. And it's definitely not picked up by any sensors because a fake bug was planted in his coat. And they discovered that. But they didn't discover the rest of it. So they're safe on that. Yes, you're at a weird angle right now and all this stuff because I am cooking and I can't stay away from it for long. So I'm trying to do this update as quickly as I can. Food cooking, that type of thing. So now they are there. Mulch is supposed to be buried deep. Artemis got John Spiro to invite fairies into his building. So now they can enter freely. Holly's gone to track Mulch to make sure Mulch doesn't harm the mud people that are supposed to bury him, while Juliet watches everything. Artemis convinces John Spiro that he can't crack the Eternity Code or wipe it out without a few days of building a new language to do so, and all of his equipment is on a disc that's kept securely at his home in Ireland. It's like 8-10 hours back and forth and we can get it. And John Spiro's like, no, you'll stay here and crack it here. Like, seriously. John Spiro thinks he has the upper hand. Artemis thinks he has the upper hand. Who knows who has the upper hand? But whoever has the upper hand, they better have it well in hand. And chapter 9 is almost 50 pages long. It's 40
47 pages long. Can you believe that? 48 actually. 48 pages long. That is a huge page count. I don't really like how the pages are not the same. But they are, we're on part 2, the counter. We'll be on the part 2, the counterattack, right? Or are we already on it? Yeah, we're already on the counterattack. Ghost in the Machine is what chapter we're on, chapter 9. We've only got like 4 chapters left. And a lot of them are big, I guess, because they're just big. If you don't count the epilogue is like, makes it 4 chapters left, or 5 chapters. I don't fucking know. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 chapters left. So, 2 more days of reading this, and I will be done. Then we'll see where we can go from there. So, I'll see you in the next clip. Okay? Okay. Shay boy. You should totally watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Okay? Okay. Okay, it's in the day, and since I was cooking, I read more of Artemis Fowl and the Eternity Code. I know it's a little dark this way, but like I can't help the angle of where my chair is. So we're at 293, and where we left off was on chapter 9. We're on chapter 11 now. So within that amount of pages, a heist happens. A very concise heist. Mulch and Juliet get in on the 84th floor or the 85th floor. Holly comes down from the top, and they disable the camera so that way Holly can come in and not be seen. And because they're not being seen, it makes it easier for them to move. So they have to get his fingerprint, John Sparrow's fingerprint, his eye print, his voice, and then they find out he also needs his weight. So there's like several things combined that will get them into the vault that they need to get into. And they do get into it. But before they do, they kind of cut off the finger of John Sparrow, or who they thought was John Sparrow. Apparently his name is Costa, and it's like his cousin or something, the same-shaped head. But Artemis figured it out was not. And it was all going according to plan, because apparently he knew they were going to be waiting for him in the vault, and knew that they were going to find him, right? That things were not going to go exactly the way they were supposed to go. Apparently they went the way exactly like they're supposed to go. So he had Pex and Chips, which are bodyguards who were supposed to who buried Mulch, memorized, and they were to do certain things and suggest certain things, and they got into the phonetics laboratories, John Sparrow's competition. And because they did that, they kind of tripped security in a way, because Juliet was pretending to be a sleeping bodyguard, and there was fake images of bodyguards and people sprawled out all over the place in there. So yeah, he faked it, and he literally looked at Sparrow and goes, "Checkmate." Not really checkmate, but he does say once he realized he's being captured, that their SWAT team's on the way. He's like, but every now and then a male comes along with such a talent for hunting that he earns the right to use a name. I am that male, Artemis the Hunter. I hunted you. And just like that, he disappeared. So he had Holly drop a cam film, which is reflections, make it look like he disappeared, and yanked him up into the ceiling to make it, seem like he completely and utterly vanished from thin air and that he was never there, and the cameras would never show him there. Yeah, you should never mess with a genius. Because though you bested him in the beginning of the book, because he didn't exactly know who he was dealing with, he planned for every eventuality afterwards, including the mind wipe that's supposed to be coming. Because he made a deal with Root that if they got the cube back safely, he would agree that everybody that knew about the fairies and all the information that they had about the fairies would be taken from him, and they would be mind wiped where they wouldn't remember. But he has a plan for that. And I'm wondering what that plan is. So, yeah. Oh, Artemis also changes a date of a warrant for Mulch's arrest to the day after he was arrested. And so, all of the subpoena arrests and convictions were null and void. So, everything after that was just like unable to be used. Because he's not done with Mulch yet. He's not done with Mulch is what he says. He's not done. So that's the update. Tomorrow I will finish the book off because there's only 35 pages left. 30, 40, almost 40 pages left. But, that shouldn't be too big of a thing. So, I will see you in the last clip as we go through the end of Artemis Fowl and the Eternity Code. I finished it. I finished the Eternity Code. Okay? So, where we left off, we left off at 11, I believe it was. Chapter 11. Nope, that's not chapter 11. Yeah. So I looked up chapter 11. So they arrive back to Ireland, and Butler's like, I gotta go. I'll be gone. And the reason why he's gotta go is because Arnold Blunt's trying to get into Ireland to kill Fowl, because Fowl fucked him over. And he's like, if I go and do anything, try to be a kind of bodyguard, my reputation is trash, and people are gonna just call me out on it in weird ass ways, and I don't need that. Okay, so he's like, I gotta go deal with him. So a friend of not a friend, but Sid Commons, the ex-Green Beret who had served with Butler on bodyguard duty in Monte Carlo, called Butler after seeing Arnold Blunt in his description. So Butler, with Holly, goes there to finish the deal, finish it off somehow. Basically what it is that Butler goes to see him, looks at him. He's like, well, let me get you a pass so that way you can stand out here and listen as shit goes down. So when Sid goes to get this pass, Holly filters into being, gives a cam foil to Butler so that way he can go into the room. Doors open for the interrogation room, doors closed, Butler's inside. Holly is outside waiting. And they have this nice, lovely chat. And when he pulls his hood off, I'm not really here. They don't know I am. You're gonna have to do this stuff. Because his voice won't register and his looks won't register on the cameras, because that's what Holly did to make sure that it couldn't be seen. Either of them couldn't be seen. So, yeah, he fucks with Arnold Blunt, saying, like, if you don't do this, I'll come back and drag you to hell. I've already been there. And I was like, you're not gonna survive. And so, yeah, he makes Arnold Blunt confess everything. Because he's like, I didn't know, I didn't believe it. I never would have shot you, Butler. I was just following Spiro's orders. You heard him give the order. I was just a metal man. That's all I've ever been. Confess your sins to the authorities, leave nothing out, or I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll confess, I promise. So, Butler comes out, pretends he's innocent. I don't know, he just started confessing. Saying he was going to confess. Went crazy. And it's just like, you didn't do nothing? No, the cameras were showing, I never went in there. I didn't do nothing. So when they return, Artemis has done several things to make sure this mind wipe deal doesn't go through. Because he wants to remember. Because it's a big part of his fucking life. A big part of who he turned out to be. Because he went from being a cold, calculated mastermind to being a kid who actually fucking cared about shit. And that's his last warning to them. It's like, you do know that maybe erasing all this fairy stuff will make me back into the person I was. And Foley's like, that's possible. But we think your goodness will rule out. Artemis didn't think so. But then again, neither did Holly or Foley. So they're like worried that maybe he would start up again. So his backup files, which were hovering in between limbo on the internet, went away. The email that had all the backup shit on it, hovering in between on the internet, disappeared. The capsule buried in the yard disappeared. But this tiny little disc with information on it that was made to look like a coin that was given to him by Holly has everything else on it. So he's mesmered to spill his secrets and whether or not he set up something to ensure that he could remember. She doesn't ask the right questions, so like he doesn't give away the fact that the medallion that he gave to Mulch has the answer to bringing him back. Now, because he wiped out all the information since he changed the date for Mulch's arrest, the very first one, he's hoping Mulch will get out, and everything. They take dwarf buttage fat, and they injected into Butler to make him look younger, because, you know, they can't hide aesthetics. He does not look like he's 40. He looks like he's in his 50s. Looks like he's aged, and they had to do something to make it look like he wasn't. So, yeah. The letter that was left for Mulch says, I have not finished with you yet, Mulch Diggums. On your return, tell your lawyer to check the date on the original search warrant for your case. When you are released, keep your nose clean for a couple years, then bring the medallion to me. Together, we'll be unstoppable. Your friend and benefactor, Artemis Fowl II. Artemis Fowl doesn't believe his father's turnaround of whole good for the family, do only good things for the family now. Nothing bad, no more criminal empire. And his diary entry, the first one he's done, that he believes he has done, talks about how he is going to take from criminals who don't deserve it to cover up the foul place because they're criminals. Gold is time, money, you know. It's what he's going to do. Real profit lies in the shadowy areas beyond the law. So that's what he's decided to do. But he's not going to tell his father about it until his father catches him. He's not going to tell his mother about it until his mother catches him. And he was drawing impressionists, but now he's drawing more fantastical subject matter, such as fairy creatures. Also, Juliet has decided to become a wrestler called Princess, instead of being a butler. Well, whatever. His appearance is the same as everybody. He has slowed down considerably no matter how he tries to hide it, but I will not replace him. He has been a loyal employee, and his expert in matters of intelligence will be invaluable. So, they don't know what's going on there. And Juliet's gone away because she doesn't believe she wants to do personal protection anymore. And then he's like, I'm a victim of a conspiracy. When I awoke, I experienced an instant of weakness. For a single moment, when I opened my eyes, I felt content. My drowsy wealth forgotten. This has never happened before. Perhaps the mood was left over for some magical dream, or perhaps my father's newfound positive attitude is contagious. Whatever the cause, I must be careful to avoid such relapses in the future. See, he's an evil criminal mind again. He says minutes later, a greater mystery presents. As I washed my face at the basin, a tiny object fell from one of my eyes. Close examination in the lab revealed it to be a semi-corroded tinted contact lens. Not only that, but a mirror layer had been added behind the tinted lens. Ingenious. Undoubtedly the work of a master craftsman put to what purpose? It is strange, but even I have no knowledge of this lens, or how it came to be in my eye. Imagine my surprise when Julie and Butler discovered mirrored lenses in their own eyes. So what is going on? What is Artemis forgetting? Dun 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 dun. So he says that once I'm rid of the nuisance about finding out who planted the lenses in his eyes, my plans will proceed unheeded. I shall unleash a crime wave, the like of which has never been seen. The world will remember the name of Artemis Fowl. So he's back to being a criminal, just as he told Holly and them that might happen. And like Holly feared. But he doesn't have no knowledge of the fairies yet, but he could still learn about it. I mean, there are still 5 books, right? Because this is like book 3 and there's like 8 of them. So there's still 5 books. Obviously, he learned about the fairies again. Duh. How would he? Because the next one is Opal. The next one is Artemis Fowl, the Opal Deception. Now, we all remember Opal from the Arctic incident and the Goblin Uprising. Okay? We all know about that. So she's back. Dun dun dun. And my hair is doing a weird, creepy thing. I thought I'll wash my hair today. I took a shower, okay? So it's all wet and it's drying very slowly, but it's making my head go floofy, floofy, floofy. Okay, well, we got to do the thing we always do at the end of the video, okay? We're doing the wrap-up. Okay, my favorite character for this book is, of course, Artemis Fowl, because, like, he realizes his mistake when messing with John Spirital, and he's like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to do this kind of shit when we're out. And he means it, except now he's going to be mind wiped, so he's back in. My most disliked character is, of course, John Spiro, because he's actually almost like a mastermind, but not quite. He thought he was going to be ahead of a clever 13-year-old, but no. He was not. He was not, okay? He was not. He was not ahead of the clever mastermind. What stood out as memorable? Fairy magic changes people in ways undescribable. Angelic comes back as all hyper and wonderful again, and our Artemis Fowl the First comes back being like, I don't want to be a criminal anymore. I thought about everything. I wanted my family, and I want to be safe. We're going legit. And Butler looks like he's 15. Well, feels like he's 50. He is 15. He got older. Magic has a weird way of working with humans. It's really weird. Okay. Now, I should have been looking at that while I was talking, but you know, my blabber mouth. I have a mouth. I have a mouth. I have a mouth. I'm a blabber. I'm a blabber. I'm a tabber. I'm a labber. I know I did it somewhere. Oh, so my favorite quote is, your little schemes have a tendency to get people hurt. Usually the people who care about you. That's Holly to Artemis. And he doesn't say anything back because, like, that is the truth. The scheme literally hurt the people he cared about. Like, literally, Butler's dying. Like, fuck. How much more literal can you get on that? I'm trying to find the passages that I wanted. Because that's one of them. One of them will be my one. Maybe that should be my favorite quote. I guess my favorite quote would be, the dwarf wrapped his fingers around Artemis' medallion. Together, they would be unstoppable. Because Mulch wants to rule. Well, he just wants money and live in peace. Really, he's a kleptomaniac. That's what he is. He's a dwarf. And Artemis just wants to do crime. What I thought about the ending of the book. I'm really sad that Artemis had his mind wiped and that he couldn't find a way to avoid it like he did the first time around. And that this time he really did have his mind wiped. So we're going to see how he gains his memory back in the next book. Because obviously it's going to be maybe a couple years. Maybe not. We don't know. We'll see. I'll see. You guys might already know. But I don't. And I can't wait to find out. What book did it remind me of? To be honest, Dragon. And a little bit like How to Train Your Dragon. Fantastical worlds. Fantastical times. This book is as part of a series called Artemis Fowl. And there are 8 books in this series. I rated this a 4. Okay, because it was really good, but it wasn't life-changing, it wasn't life-altering, but it still was a really good story. And I mean, like, they could make movies out of these. They should make movies out of all of these little books. Like 8 movies? That's 8 freaking movies, dude. Anyways, if you think I was a black commentary in a lovely description, why don't you go ahead and drop it down below. And we'll see you next illusion.